Hello. Some of the stuff I wanted to do tonight is getting freaking in the way because I can't look at my other stuff. But we will fight on. Oh yeah. I'm in there, but I'm deafened, so it doesn't like pop up when I upload it to YouTube. But I am in the process of getting a super sweet mixer that'll be on separate channels. Yodelay-hee-hoo. I wonder if I can make this pop up. Yay. Is this working? Ah, yeah. Alright, so what I'm doing tonight is feel free to ask me any questions about D&D, being Dungeon Master, Erenel's universe. I'm just here to chat, answer questions, and want to update this map a bit for our new campaign 3. The Rise of Harlock. Let me know if the music's too loud too. So the main part of Nevermore Expanse for you guys, or the campaign 3 is going to be, is mainly this direction. There's a lot of open space. We need some more greenery. I think I should drop a forest in. Give it a sweet name. Kind of map out what the cities have around it. So most of this would be timber wood. As small as I get, shit. It's a pretty big forest. Meadow says 20 years, you're old. I've been a dungeon master since I was 13, going on 14. We're gonna do there we go. Good. Good. That didn't work. Let's type this out. Mm-hmm. Zoop. Make this a little smaller. That is too small. Is that a Hearthstone brewery? Yeah, it looks better. 20-year dungeon master. Ask me the questions. My soul's turned black and rotted away from inside. Man, I'm excited for the games on Sunday. It's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be a big old epic warfare. You didn't play in the game when we used the warfare rules last time, did you, Rizza? Yeah, man, it's sweet. Everyone gets assigned a new card, and it's like you roll attacks and take damage, like you normally would. But it's got lightweight warfare rules to where like infantrymen can't attack flying, so on. What is your biggest pet peeve when it comes to DMing? Yeah, the broomstick and the sword. My biggest pet peeve about DMing is I mean, that might be number 2. My biggest pet peeve is when characters or players make characters with only the sense of being trolls or disrupting the world when like everyone else around them is trying to be serious and creates all these cool backstories, disrespects the dungeon master's time and effort. If you're gonna play a D&D game, respect your players and dungeon master. What are these? Let's get these out of here. Yeah, exactly that. That is 100%. I haven't used this in so long. There we go. Not saying you can't make quirky characters, but you don't want to be disruptive for the sake of just being a dick. It's also another funny thing is like I know a lot of people that haven't really played D&D before. They make characters that are like overly douchebags because they want to vent their frustrations, and that's always bad news too. So in the campaign rules, we always have something about make a character that wants to be a part of the group, or just everyone's going to have a bad time if you don't. Like this little forest here. Change this color. I think I've told this story a couple times, but the reason I started DMing when I was really young, when I think I was 13, is my parents had one of those really old Mac computers, like before Apple was cool. It was like super big and bulky, but all I had was like a word processor. And I watched an episode of Dexter's Lab, and Dexter was the dungeon master in the game. And he had a couple players that were running through it. I thought it was super cool watching him do it. So I got on my parents' old piece of crap computer and started to make a world. I had no idea what the rules were. But I made the world up. And then eventually found some basic rules, like a really old rule set. And I made my brother and Tyler Blanton. Well, I didn't say make, I persuaded and my parents to sit down and play this game. And that was around the time 3rd edition came out. Oh, dude, 3.5 3rd edition is... yeah, it's so good. I've pulled a lot of stuff from 3rd edition into our 5th edition stuff. Hurrah fair. Cool looking hurrah fair emote. What's your tips for kind of slowly getting into creating a one-shot? You should get a pre-made one and run your first game through a pre-made one-shot. 100%. Let's darken this up here a little bit. Just because if you haven't really run D&D before, it'll help you get a feel for characters. You want to read it enough to where you're comfortable with it, but in reality you can read the beginning part and the end part and then kind of skim the middle, because they do a really good job with their adventures where the most important stuff you need to know is boxed or italicized. And you should never be afraid to like kind of wing it and improv stuff too. A lot of times for the games that I DM now, I mean it took a while to get comfortable, but I don't write out big blocks of text. I have an idea of what the room's going to have in it if it's a dungeon crawl, and I always try to remember to, when I describe stuff, to describe a couple of the senses, not all the senses, but like you hit 2 or 3. So you'll say what they see, then you might say what they hear, and you should never discount what they smell. But I never write huge blocks of stuff anymore. And when you're running your one shot, if you run a one shot, you don't have to run it completely by the book of what you see. Yep, and because you can never really tell what your characters are going to do too. Yeah, I'm a big person, or I'm a big believer that dungeon masters make the best players because they understand so much more. And a lot about being an RP isn't just being in the moment. I mean, people talk about Laura Bailey as being like amazing RPer, and the main reason she's an amazing RPer is because she understands setting up and like building up her party members, throwing them softballs that they can knock out of the park. That's a big part of being a good RPer. Asking questions. Yeah, it looks a lot better darker. Improv stuff. So like an idea of improv is the entire last Dying Embers game. I had no notes. It was all improv. Where you guys went, when you guys met the Craghelm on the ship. All of that was 100% improv when Magnus dreamed with his bud. All the messages. What I do is I have ideas of things that I have bullet points. Hey, thanks for the follow, Patchwork. Glad to see you back in here, man. Improv is way easier when you have bullet points set up. Oh, I have a Streamlabs thing that just said that. Come on, Streamlabs, what you doing? Everyone's awkward to an extent, and then the more you play, the better you get. But I never write out all my games. I just have bullet points of things that are going to happen, things that I want to happen, and then I have random ideas that I keep in like a corner. The only things that I ever set up are combat situations and maps for combat situations. Or going into cities, I'll have a list of like random encounters I can grab from, and I'll have like 20 different encounters. The only awkward one is you goon. So what I'm doing right now, besides answering questions, is I'm building the map for campaign 3, adding in some stuff already that I had set up. And Patchwork, man, if you remember when we did our campaign pitch stream like a week ago, players picked the Rise of Harlock, the vampire one, where you gave me a couple of the noble houses, and I've taken them noble houses and I'm using them. So that's definitely appreciated. I think the hardest part about being an RPer as a player is some people RP a little bit faster than others, and that's just comes from experience as a player. When you hear someone talk to you in person to your person, you know, you hear the information that they're saying, then you process it as yourself, and then you process it as your character, and then you have to speak as your character. So there's an extra second of thought before you speak. Some people process faster. If you're a little bit slower of an RP processor, and this is something that I'd say to newer players, is it helps to have like a catchphrase or like a single thing that your player will do or go to. Kind of like NPC, like our favorite NPC, Sarge, where he says, "I ain't never gonna leave you." But if you have something that you can pull on in an instant, that's catchy, it'll build your confidence as a player to speak more. So catchphrases are, bam. Something a little cooler than waka waka. Waka waka.
That's all I got.
Hmm. Can I take off that Streamlabs thingy and try? This playlist is sweet. If I did it right and you hit exclamation point Erenel, it should pop up the world in chat. And I think you can do exclamation point hug. Yeah. There we go. He's gone. I wish I smoke drugs. It might have like a 10-second timer delay too for the mod. Alright, so we added a small force in between Novavasi and Braidlet. Is the worst part of being a good DM not being able to play, or is it better because you get multitude of tunes? Blah. The worst part of being a DM. So being a DM, I think, is super rewarding. And I think being a DM is almost like giving people that you care about a gift of your game, because you know that, and you mold your game so that they enjoy it. The negative part about being a DM is, I think it's twofold. One is you feel exhausted afterwards, but you can't sleep because you're so like in the moment. But it takes so much out of you mentally to dungeon master that it is tiring, and you just need time to recover after a session. You know, you're jumping around between different characters and plot points and rule sets and policing the game. It's exhausting, but it's kind of like a long day's work. It's something you enjoy. The other worst part about being a DM is, as a DM, you can feel when sessions go amazing, or when sessions they don't hit like you wish they did, and you feel responsible when they don't hit like you wish they did. But I mean, it's kind of like that with every game. There's always ups and downs. Some games will be amazing, some games will be a little bit lower. But when the game isn't on that peak that you want it to be at, it always doesn't make you depressed, but it hits you in a certain way. And I know DM fatigue for some people, it hits them harder than others, where they feel like they should have hit that peak and they haven't. And if they go a couple games in a row where they don't hit that peak, it wears on you. And I know that's why Matt Colville talked about this recently in one of his posts, his blog posts. But he does what's called seasons in games, and he takes like 2 weeks off in between seasons. So he'll play for 8 weeks straight, take 2 weeks off to recharge, play 8 weeks straight. But playing games is always it's a good, and I'm excited to play in Raz's game. I'm excited to play in Lemon's One Shot too. Do I like to roleplay more or combat more personally? I like to roleplay a lot to lead to a very hard, difficult combat, and then roleplay a lot. So like I know some people don't like, say, like Critical Role shopping episodes. I personally love shopping episodes, and I like the whole interactions and role plays. I like combat, but I only like combat if it means something. I don't like combat where it's like a crawl and you fight like 10 rats here and then next room, oh wait, here's 10 rats again, and then next room. I don't like tedious combat. I like combat that is difficult, challenging, and with interesting encounters. So like running down an alley and fighting thugs is meh. But like fighting a dragon on top of a sky castle is yeah. Don't expect that from don't expect what? Are you talking about like crazy combat situations? No, I mean doing combat in a exciting way is I'm expecting an amazing time with friends and to be drinking heavily. Just gonna roleplay, that's gonna be it. So do you all like Critical Role shopping episodes, like that kind of roleplay where you're like with tavern keepers, or you're sitting in an inn and you're talking to innkeepers and interesting people in the inn? Or do you like only roleplay that leads to meaningful stuff? And by that I mean plot points. Yeah, don't expect non-mundane combat. Of course, personality makes the best roleplay in these episodes. Yeah, I agree, 100%. Those like shopping episodes is like the theme, but that's where I think people can really dive into and mold their characters how they want it to be, and learn more about characters. Combat comes. I personally like all roleplay, definitely more immersive, but again, sometimes hard to engage players to do every aspect of RP. Yeah, some people are into it more and some people aren't. It's mainly reading your group of players and playing with your players more and kind of learning what they like and what they don't like, and then you go off that. And as a DM, you want to mold your game to fit the players at your table. Because you always want to engage them. You engage them and then you let them run off on crazy things that you weren't expecting. I know some players in our games, they like roleplay, but they only like roleplay when it has very meaningful things. Like they want to talk to kings, or like have diplomacy with adult dragons, that kind of stuff. I like how we used to go into shops, but you kept it more optional. And like, stop anywhere before we leave the city. Risk getting stuff and trading go. Yeah. Yeah, force them out of their comfort zone to grow. Definitely true. I set the scene of where they're at, where the players are, and then I ask them what they'd like to do, and then I just let them do whatever they want to do, and they set up they say what they want, and I'll make sure to find a way to make what they want be interesting. Example of that is Dingbang's character in the Wormspeaker game when they first got to Dungeon. I knew if I put like a strange random NPC encounter, he would take it and he would change it into something that was interesting. So when I first put that bum or that homeless person on the bridge that turned out to be Barnaby, in my notes it just was homeless person. There was no Barnaby attached to it, nothing like that. And all I knew was I would have him say that he was an elf king. And then I waited to see Dingbang's reaction to it, and then we kind of improv'd it into being Barnaby. And that's how your whole storyline came from. And that's just from a random roleplay that's now like a big part of the game. Yep, that's reincarnation where it came from. So you set the scene, you let your players kind of talk about what they want to do together and then apart. And then you jump around from players' perspective on the stuff they like to do. So like if two people like to shop, I'll hit them for a bit while they shop. But after you get a feel for when you've been with them for a little bit too long, you need to jump to somebody else. And cancel that shop scene, jump to, say, the next player to see what they want to do. And you also need to rely on your players to... Kind of like talking earlier about the Laura Bailey stuff, where she's amazing at setting up her party for roleplay moments. You rely on your players to set each other up for stuff. Engage each other in questions. If a character doesn't have any motivation to play in the group, then what you playing D&D for? Is anyone here from like older D&D, like say 2nd edition or 3.5, where it was mainly more 2nd edition, where the game was, I mean, it was literally dungeons. Like your whole game is basically going from dungeon to dungeon, slogging through combat, weight restrictions, having to figure out how to transport 10,000 copper that weighs 1,000 pounds, having squire boys. Games really came a long way since that. But then 5th edition is probably the easiest rule set. Yeah. Yeah, I mean 5e is my favorite rule set just because it's so well made for newer players to get into it, and then it's open to add so much stuff to it, which is amazing. And that's why there's so many, well, besides the big boom of people playing, which just comes from 5th edition being easier to play, but there's so many content creators because the rule system's so much easier. Yep. Just be happy that you skipped 4th edition, because that was a real freaking slog fest. There's so many random rules in that thing. Holy crap. D&D Next is the Reddit thread? Or the Reddit subreddit? Yeah, D&D Next is sweet. Blaine probably remembers this, but I had a friend that was into 3rd edition pretty heavily. His name was Craig. He was he was in the army. He was overseas in Iraq he did 2 tours. And every time I would talk to him while he was overseas, he was talking about how he's making this amazing D&D campaign and how we were all going to die. It doesn't matter how hard we tried, it was going to be so difficult and everyone was going to die. He never finished it, but I think that is a dangerous idea for 5th edition. They may come out with a 6th edition sometimes, and that was the argument someone told me about 5e not liking it. We should make an edition and doing it again, it doesn't matter. Ooh, I don't know. I think they might ride 5 for a long time. Fifth edition came out in what, 2016, I think? Third edition came out 2001. I think so. But they can do. Yeah, they're different. Fifth edition came out in 2014. Okay. I bet they run it till. So if they go like a 7-year route, it'd be. I know 4th edition they push to the next edition like really fast. 3rd edition 3.5 is very similar to Pathfinder. And the rule sets are really similar. 4th edition is I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it. 4th edition does a lot of stuff with math, where in terms of like your paladin gives everyone within 30 feet +1 -1. But this wizard gives everyone within 30 feet -1 +1. And then this bugbear gives everyone within 30 feet +2 -3. And there's so many variables on everything that it makes combat super slog. Campaign 3 is going to be starting right here at Nova Vasi. That's why I put that forest there, because we needed some more greenery. Yeah, Pathfinder is, yep, that's exactly right. Yep. And when combat turns into a slogfest, it's just not fun. That's why I think Roll20 is so awesome, that you can, it rolls advantage and disadvantage and the dice damage at the same time. Or like if you ever go and play D&D and like person, when you see players that roll 2d20s and their damage dice at the same time, those guys are, wow, amazing. Because no one wants to sit there and watch someone go d20 +2 plus then another +2, and it takes them 5 minutes to make for their turn. That kills momentum. It kills pacing. Oh no, you're gonna kill the pacing. Don't do that. Now it's different if you're rolling like 2d20s and your d8 at the same time, but then you're narrating your combat. If you're narrating your combat, that's entertaining. But if you're going slowly, you're just slowing down the pace of the game, and then the players will start to get restless on you. Skarsgård is something that was happening with Dying Embers. But the mists of the Nevermore Expanse kind of pushes Nova Vasi and everything up to the Highland Highlands in its own little section, basically. And those that live in Skarsgård stay away from the mist. We're nowhere near to 6th edition D&D, but if we get there, this is how I like to play out Zero Disruption to what you've already been doing, just like new toys make your game better. So it's like expansions. That makes sense. They have a good system right now. I think they release a new expansion or adventure like every 3 months right now. Like the Eberron book is, I don't know if anyone's looked through it yet, but it's really good. It's like 400 pages. It's got the Artificer class revamped and set in stone now. It's got new spells, new monsters. I hope Rue's mentors in the Nevermore Expanse, one of his crazy clones jumped to the university. That was a good plot point. Remember when he killed him in his rock form? Need to name this for something. Remember him blinking between dimensions in the middle of the night where he camped way out in the middle of nowhere. That was another improv thing. It's funny. Northern Brewwood. I know I reference him a lot, but Kovo had a good number on combat. On how long each turn of combat should be to be interesting for the group and people watching. And I feel like it was 60 seconds, but I can't exactly remember his exact time. And that includes dice rolling, damage, explaining your combat movement, all that kind of stuff for pacing issues. So what do we want to name? Dank Dank. A little curve. Shinewoods. Where the moonshine is. Gonna get that dank dank and that good, you know what I'm saying? That's funny. Norbergen Woods? Is that like no more gone? What are you drinking, Rizzo? Drunko Rizzo. Naming stuff is always the hardest part of everything. From what I've seen so far, there's some solid backstories coming in campaign 3 and for the new players in campaign Wormspeaker campaign. Some nice backstories from the new characters. Moscato. I picked up a couple bottles to take to the parents' house tomorrow for Thanksgiving. Yangling? Yangling's a good choice. I think I got a fat tire in the fridge. We have 3 new players in Rise of Harlock this time. That's awesome. Well, maybe we should do it this way. What would we put in this forest? What do we think would live there? That could help determine what it's called. To the Google Doc. Oh, it's awesome, and I've heard from a lot of players in the other campaigns that they're excited to watch the Monday game. And this does take place during the same time frame as the other two campaigns. So there is a Salian war going on down this way. Big snakes that suck out your soul if they constrict you. Is that a Dragon Princess? Which is, if you have Netflix, Dragon Princess is amazing. And you should watch it. Ooh, how about Brim Eye Timbers? Think about Brim Eye Timbers. Click, click, click. Oh, did I freeze it? Nope. Because it's awesome. There we go, it looks better. If you're curious about this program, this is called Wonder Draft. The Brim Eye Timbers. Where can I find the new Ranger UA from? Where's the coast, or do you prefer that for Erenel or Hunter? So I deleted my Hunter because I think the WOC version, the new UA, is way better. One sec. Because Z's playing a new Ranger. Do you think if they used 5e rules the whole time, more people would have been interested? Yeah. I think depends on, yeah. The game has evolved a lot from back when, say, like Resrika or Blanton or myself played. It was all about combat, collect, and loot, min-maxing your character to the core. Third edition was a little bit mixed. Fourth edition, they tried to go back to that because a lot of the hardcore guys wanted to do it. And then I think with 5th edition, people kind of seeing how Critical Role and a lot of these things are. It's a little more narrative. Yeah, a lot of people still play 3.5. I would just tell them to play Pathfinder. I think 5th edition has been amplified immensely by Twitch. And seeing people that are just average, cool people playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it's not all super nerdy guys in the basement covered in Mountain Dew or the satanic panic bullshit that happened. It's just normal people having a good time playing tabletop games. Are you soaked in Mountain Dew, Raz? No. What's your take on the new Artificer class now that it's been officially released with Eberron? I think it looks pretty good. I have an Alchemist class that is somewhat similar, but I think the Artificer class looks pretty nice. I think you really have to enjoy being a support-oriented class to play it. and I'm a big believer in like there's certain parts of 5th edition in all games where your DM might say spell materials are super important, weight limits are super important, stuff like that. I typically give the groups a bag of holding in like the first 2 to 3 levels, just because I try to cut out some of the tedious stuff unless the players are really into it. I know that's a nice part of the Artificer is he can make his own bag of holding like super early on. But I like the Artificer class. Blanton plays kind of my take on the Artificer class. He plays the Alchemist, which is more of a bomber, mad bomber. Blood orgies to summon the mighty beholders. Well, with that, would you ever play games with previous rules? I would play. So if I've thought about this a lot. If I would ever DM for another game, I would either DM for the new Pathfinder 2, or I would DM for a Call of Cthulhu game. And I'm kind of leaning towards doing a Call of Cthulhu game way down the line. I don't know if I would ever go back to 3.5 to 4. I would rather take rules from 3.5 to 4 and move them to 5, kind of like what I've been doing. So like when we do skill checks, skill challenges, that comes from 4th edition. I just took it, modified it, put it in 5. So here's a cool thing. So the archways that we do in our games, and for players that haven't played in the games yet, we do these mini Diablo style rifts that are called archways, which you step into it and it's either like a puzzle or like one combat session. And if you complete it, you get archway coins, which are rewards from Almadune's essence that you can use to enchant gear that you have. And all the enchantments on all that stuff, every enchantment in the archway stuff comes from 3rd edition. Those are all modified item stuff that used to be a thing in 3rd edition. So like Rizzo, your new shield that floats around you is a 3rd edition enhancement that you could have got. And it's just ported from 3rd to 5 with a little bit of changes. I'm gonna say mad scientist, not scientist, Blanton. I think I linked the Unearthed Arcana. I think I pinned it in Tavern chat in Discord. If I didn't, send Z a message because he has it, because he's playing the new Beastmaster version of the Ranger in Wormspeaker. I cannot wait to run and boost someone from again. Look at all boot. In the Dying Embers game, Rizzo just picked up a boomstick, which is a modified take on a gun, which shoots out little fireballs. Unearthed Arcana also just released something for psionics. It's got a psionic fighter, some bunch of spells. Like Grizzly linked it. Bunch of spells are in there. Make sure the link to. I'm not saying it's the wrong one. I haven't looked at it, but they did a revised Ranger and then they did like a revised to the revised Ranger. But like a lot of the stuff, sometimes they release stuff on Unearthed Arcana and it feels like they over tune and they have to bring it back. Like there's a new spell that just came out, which is basically Vicious Mockery, but it's better than Vicious Mockery, which just like makes Vicious Mockery shit. Yeah, I think that fire looks cool. I really like the Ruin is a fighter, but he needs, I think he needs a little bit of balance before he's used, but that Ruin fighter looks pretty sweet. They definitely overtune their Unearthed Arcana stuff and then bring it back. Yeah, definitely. I do like some of the new feats and how they kind of relaxed other classes to like change spells and not be locked into spells. There's a bunch of cool spells, might as well use them. Or if you're a new character or a new player and you take a spell and find out you don't like the spell and you wish you could take another one, opens it up a little bit. If you're playing for a Rose Nazi DM. Which I am not. Do I need anything else close by this timber? Has anyone ever played in a game that got over level 12 in 5th edition? I know most games barely make it to level 10. Level 11? Nice. Level 11 is a nice power jump. Yep, we were 11 on Dying Embers. And then Worm Speaker, I think, is 60% into level 6. Oh yeah, the Darilos game. Could put a mountain in there. If anyone here ever makes maps, know that river should flow away from mountains and downstream, or map cartographer Nazis will yell at you. It comes from experience. That's what they say. It's a magic river. Flows up the mountain. The little color. It's too bright. It's not good either. Flows up river or flows up mountain where a giant water elemental sits, pulling the water to it. That's a cool idea. Magic. I feel like Bob Ross. Put a couple love or happy trees. Put a couple happy mountains here. I got you guys starting at Nova Vasi. I'm kind of going back and forth with the first session based on everyone's backstories. It keeps changing, but I don't know. I got stuck on an idea of oh yeah. I got stuck on an idea of half of the group is in chains and being marched to be food for slaughter for some the high ranking noble household there. Because I think it's cool to start games with like a quick combat session in a way. Just to force people to work together very quickly. And then combat kind of brings the group together. I try to avoid doing like the standard, you guys are sitting in an inn and you think each other looks cool. Or you guys are all in a ship. And it's like Path of Exiles and you're shipwrecked. But starting the campaign is always like a really hard thing to figure out. Name of the mountains. Not saying that starting in the end is bad. Have I used Raven's Roost before? Yes, I know this says Hinterlands. I know that's a WoW thing. Don't judge me. Raven's Roost. You like Raven's Roost? You need a race for campaign 3? Cox Corner.
Is that like the Yelp?
Yeah, Tads. Embrace the Tad. I should play humans and like them, but I should explore. If you dive into it a little deeper too, a lot of my races have like sub races that kind of change them a bit. Like if you went orc, you could be a half ogre, or you could be a grave aves. You could be a raven, lady of the night, cox of the night. Tads are great. I think I'm gonna play an Ursus in Razrika's game. Hmm. Bruscos are cool. Trying to think of races that I haven't seen anyone play yet. I don't think anyone's played a Tad yet. When Valthera is new. I don't think anyone's played an orc. Oh wait, no. Meta played a sailor orc with a long mustache.
Drunk fish baster.
Drunk fish baster. What are the crow-like people? The Avies? Or the Avies, however you want to pronounce it. Play a gnome. Yeah, Tads are awesome. Are you still looking at Saturday for your one shot? This Saturday? That means I need to make my character quick. Yeah, these are sweet. It's always funny to watch Raining on Avon cower behind Magnus with his cower ability. Fireball and cower. If you're new here and just lurking in chat, don't be shy. You can ask some questions. Okay. Both characters cower now. I think that's pretty good for this map. Hmm. When you all come up with your characters when you play D&D, do you start race and class and then build backstory, or do you start backstory and then build race and class? Go race, class, and backstory? Yeah. Nice. Everyone's pretty similar. Early next week, I have a magic item coming out that was created and designed by our very own Blanton. He drew the artwork for it. It's pretty badass. Or if I can give a hint on it, let me think. Cold as a witch's titty. Is that a good hint? We already have the fake, yeah, the gelatinous cube that was molded into boobs. That's hilarious. So is anyone thinking about taking a dive into a one-shot or DM that has a question about about DMing and stuff? Anyone want to take the leap? Working on another magic item? What do you think of the wild magic sorcerer? I think sorcerer in general is one of, if not the best designed class. And I think wild magic sorcerer is a ticking time bomb. Just waiting to take a group and just throwing it in a completely different direction, which is, in my opinion, I love it. It's amazing. I use a modified wild magic table though. But just the idea of like you cast fireball, but all of a sudden you accidentally polymorph all of your friends around you into sheep, I think is amazing. No, the party might not think so, but wild magic sorcerer is great. I've taken that wild magic sorcerer table and I've used it for improv on a couple of other random things, like when Dying Embers went to the Royal College, the university, and they went to the fair and they had the pies. You guys are just rolling on the wild magic sorcerer table. That's where the ideas came from. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. I was adjusting the mic, sorry. So your ass and face swapping was improv, not from the Wild Magic Sorcerer's table. That was from the Halloween game 2 years ago, wasn't it? When you guys met Nibbles, the little rat, the highly intelligent little rat. And your ass turned into your face and your face turned into your ass. And you had to talk like you were farting. That was so good. Oh, that was awesome. And I remember Meadow's character despised Nibbles, and it was like her job to try to just kill him or get rid of him, but he kept coming back.
Fucking Shadden wanted to keep him alive.
Shedden loved Nibbles. Yeah, Shedden was keeping that thing safe. Yeah, was it Meadow's character that turned into a balloon and he had to stop her from floating away? That's hilarious. I can show you guys this, I think, without getting in trouble. I use OneNote for my DM stuff without showing you guys plot points. This is like my quick look. And I have random generators that I'll use if I need to. If you want to see my tabs. There we go. Yeah. This is what I use as my DM screen. So whenever you guys go shopping, I have like links for different magic items and then just really basic stuff. Basic cost for stuff. Random encounters. When I'm in a pickle and you guys are taking too long to get somewhere. This playlist is sweet. What else can I show you in this one without giving too much away? Let me look here. Here's my page for Bernick under all my settlements. You guys never got there, so I didn't fully flesh it out, but I do like quick demographic government stuff and then notes on numbers of the map. Then description of the place. Let's fix that. Let's get that over there. Wano is Bay. If you can see up here, I got a tab for the PCs. Campaign stuff. Yes, it is. Here's something that I haven't done a very good job of as of lately. So this is the DM screen for the Dying Embers. I leave myself like little reminders. Then I do recaps of stuff that happened. Then I'll make myself notes so I don't forget. And if I have ideas of dialogue I want to say, or maybe a name I can pull from. This is like my quick reference. And after every game, I'll usually pop in and leave myself a recap for stuff. Here's my random NPC tables with names. Because you guys meet random people all the time. That's how I make them interesting really fast. I'll just jump on and pull something. It's like the NPC has well-toned leg muscles. Hit an NPC with one or two quick characteristics and you're good. What else can I show? If anyone played in the old one-shot, the South Eels Descent one-shot, these were my one-shot notes for the game. Different puzzles, different rooms for the puzzles. This is when you're playing as Tegan, or Tiga, the orc with ponytails, or like Rathken. Down here's the boss fight, his phases, did a phase boss fight. So whenever you guys go into like an archway, it's as similar as this page. I mean, I think I answered a lot of questions tonight. It's like it's 20 till 10. I'll answer a few more questions if anyone has any, but if not, I think I might save this map. And then get ready for the big Nevermore Expanse article that's going to come out this weekend for everyone in the new campaign. So if you have any questions, hit me. If not, thanks for showing up and being here and hanging out. Oh yeah, man, I'm about to slam on some turkey. Stuffing, pumpkin pie, macaroni and cheese. How wrecked is Michigan gonna get this year? Michigan doesn't have a chance.
Hello?
34 nothing. We're still ranked number 1 in the country, right? Over LSU. I think we're 1 to the LSU's 2. Also saw Urban Meyer is in the running to be the next Dallas Cowboys head coach. Right? Oh, I'm dying, blah, blah, blah. That boop noise is the Wonder Draft when it saves. My map maker.
Hello?
Anyone else thinking of doing a campaign or a one-shot in the future? Does anyone have the balls? You should expect going in the long distance feature. You should expect going in to not be amazing, and you should work to perfect it. You're not going to DM and be Matt Mercer on your first DM or your 5 years of DMing. You just run your game, have a good time with your buds. All right, well. Thanks for coming and hanging out for the past hour and a half. Thanks for all the questions. Won't be streaming tomorrow because of Thanksgiving, so have an amazing Thanksgiving. We'll have the Dying Embers game is moved to Sunday, so if you want to watch the live stream on Sunday at 6 Eastern. And then hopefully we'll have campaign 3 starting up either the 9th or the 16th. Probably more towards the 16th, but once it starts, it's going. Happy Thanksgiving. I just looked over at Metal's screen. It looks like she's drawing 2 big old butt cheeks. What is that?
They're actually boobs, okay?
Oh, those are boobs. Oh, excuse me. It's breastplate. Big old bitties.
Big old bitties.
So thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't followed and you're just kind of hanging out and listening, give us a follow. If you want to chat about D&D or Erenel, join our Discord. If you like watching a live stream, we'll be running on Sunday. If you like to watch videos or VODs, we have a YouTube up where we upload our games on YouTube. All of it can be found down below. Y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a good night. And I'll see y'all later.